For years, the tablet felt like a device with a really bright past, but kind of a dim future. Today, though, we're going to dive into its pretty surprising resurgence. It's a real comeback story, and it's being driven by a huge shift in strategy and, you guessed it, the game-changing promise of artificial intelligence.
So this entire analysis is our deep dive into another great installment of the Tech Stories series from the research firm Techarc. We're going to break down their data, the trends, and the tech that are breathing new life into the tablet.
Okay, so let's just get right to the heart of it. For a decade and a half, the tablet was supposed to completely change how we work, learn, and play. But for most of that time, it just didn't. So what on earth went wrong with that original promise?
To figure that out, we've broken our journey down into 5 parts. First, we'll look at the tablet's long-running identity crisis. Then, we'll see the big strategic pivot that changed everything in 2025. After that, we'll map the market with some hard data, look under the hood at the technology, and finally explore what this coming AI renaissance really means for the device.
All right, first up, let's talk about that identity crisis. For so long, the tablet was just kind of stuck in the middle, caught somewhere between a smartphone and a laptop, a device really in search of a purpose.
And wow, the numbers really tell the story. For 15 years, in a massive market like India, tablet sales couldn't even break the 5 million a year mark. Think about that. Unlike smartphones, smartwatches, or pretty much any other smart device, it never hit that mass adoption stage. It just hit a wall. And this slide just nails the disconnect. The promise was huge, right? A revolutionary tool for hospitals, for schools, for big business. But the reality was, well, pretty disappointing. Most tablets were seriously underpowered, especially compared to phones. They were basically just a bigger screen with a worse experience. No wonder they got stuck in tiny pilot projects and never took off. But then, in 2025, the industry decided to flip the script, and that brings us to Chapter 2, the productivity pivot. This was a fundamental shift, moving away from just passively consuming media to actively creating things. This shift in strategy is absolutely crucial. The industry stopped seeing the tablet as just a cheap secondary device for watching videos. The new game plan was to position it as a primary tool for serious work and high-end gaming, with specs that could finally go toe-to-toe with the best smartphones out there.
And this wasn't just a marketing gimmick. They made 3 major hardware changes to back it up. First, detachable keyboards became standard, making tablets a real, affordable alternative to laptops. Second, they built in 5G, making them truly always on. And third, and this is a big one, manufacturers finally gave them the powerful processors and RAM they needed to deliver a premium experience, just like a smartphone.
Okay, so that was the strategy, but did it actually work? Well, let's jump into the numbers from the Techarc report and map out exactly how the market transformed in 2025.
The conviction from manufacturers is crystal clear. In 2025 alone, 42 new tablet models hit the market. And what's really interesting is that after a slow start, there was a huge surge of launches in the third quarter. It felt like the entire industry decided to push all its chips in at once. So who was leading this charge? Lenovo was right at the front with 12 new models, really focusing on that value-for-money customer. Samsung was right behind with 9 launches, cementing its leadership in the premium Android world, and OnePlus also made a pretty significant splash. Now, when we look at the price segments, a really fascinating trend emerges. Sure, the affordable base segment still had the most launches, but the real story is the major growth in the premium and luxe categories. The market isn't just growing, it's premiumizing, shifting towards more powerful and, more expensive devices.
And this table of specs shows you exactly why. Just look at the jump when you go from entry to base. The RAM doubles and the storage quadruples. Then you move up to the premium segment, and you're looking at 16 gigs of RAM and half a terabyte of storage. These aren't just media players anymore. These are serious machines for serious work.
Okay, we've seen the strategy and the market data. Now let's go a layer deeper and look at the actual tech and manufacturing shifts that are making this comeback possible. These are the real engines of change. The Techarc report uses this really cool wax-wane analysis, basically what's in and what's out. So as you'd expect, older standards like Wi-Fi 5 and small 64-gig storage options are fading away. And in their place, we're seeing Wi-Fi 7, Bluetooth 6.0, and most importantly, processors with dedicated AI hardware, or NPUs, built right in. This is quickly becoming the new standard.
And hardware is just improving at a dizzying pace. MediaTek and Qualcomm are powering most of the devices, while Apple's M-series chips continue to set a ridiculously high performance bar. But beyond just power, its features like multi-speaker audio systems, those gorgeous OLED displays, and integrated AI assistants like Samsung's Galaxy AI that are becoming the real differentiators.
Now, a huge factor, especially in the Indian market, has been the Make in India initiative. In 2025, this policy went from just monitoring to active enforcement. They started using import restrictions and some powerful financial incentives to really push brands to manufacture devices locally.
And the impact on the ground has been immediate. Local manufacturing has actually led to a slight price drop for entry-level tablets. Now, the premium models are still expensive as global supply chains adjust, but this whole new infrastructure is opening the door for more brands to offer high-value products assembled right there in the country.
And this brings us to the final, and I think most exciting chapter, the future. We are now entering what Techarc is calling the AI renaissance, and it's the last, crucial piece of the puzzle for the tablet's big comeback.
This quote from the report just sums it up perfectly. The future of the tablet isn't just about the hardware specs anymore. It's about intelligence. They're evolving into these ecosystem-centric devices where AI assistants aren't just a neat feature, they're the core of the whole experience.
And at a fundamental level, AI is here to solve the tablet's oldest problem: input. I mean, for a lot of us, typing on a flat piece of glass has always felt a little clumsy. AI is promising to make that interaction way more intuitive, moving us way beyond the limits of a keyboard. So, the roadmap for 2026 seems pretty clear. We can expect even deeper AI integration from all the major brands, more powerful chips like Apple's next-gen M series, and even more sophisticated ecosystem plays from companies like Samsung. And behind all of that, local assembly is just going to become the standard way of doing business.
Which leaves us with one final, really fascinating question. After 15 years of searching for its purpose, after that massive pivot to productivity, and now on the verge of an AI revolution, will artificial intelligence be that final ingredient that transforms the tablet from a nice-to-have gadget into the one essential device you truly can't live without?